Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have another fun fold card idea that I want to share with you. And this is actually two fun fold cards all rolled into one. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different ways that you can create a diagonal joy fold card. Now, the cards in this video feature the Easter Lilies Bundle from Stampin Up. So this particular bundle has a stamp set and a coordinating die set. However, keep in mind that you can use any supplies you have on hand to create these diagonal joy fold cards. Okay, so first let's talk about how to create the base of this joy fold card. So we're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock. And you want to put the 8.5 inch side up towards the top of your paper trimmer. And basically what I'm going to do is just create a standard card base. So I'm just going to score this in half at 4.25 inches. So now we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it in our paper trimmer on an angle. So I want to line up that score line, that 4.25 inch score line. And I want to line up this bottom corner piece here in my paper trimmer so that I can create the diagonal section of this fun fold card. So you're going to be cutting from the score line diagonally down to this lower corner. All right, so you will end up with an extra piece that you can use in card making, but we're not going to use it for this card. So this will be the base of the diagonal section for this fun fold card. The next thing you want to do is just cut a 3.25 by 8.5 inch piece of the same color cardstock that you're using for the card base. And you're just going to score it in the middle at 4.25 inches. So this will become the second fun fold section for this card. So basically these are the two pieces for the fun fold card. So you have your standard card base, which is cut diagonally, and then you have this little insert here that will actually insert between the diagonal section and the back or the base of the card. So let me show you how to put this together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of designer paper so that I can use it on this triangular section of this fun fold card. So I just cut a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of pattern paper, and I'm basically just going to put this into my paper trimmer and line up the top and bottom corners here in the paper trimmer. And I'm just going to cut it diagonally. So this basically gives us two triangular pieces. So you can use one for this card, and then if you want to make another card, you can use this piece for the second card. So basically, this is going to go right on this triangular section of the card, the diagonal section. So we will just add that. So the next thing I did is just cut a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of white cardstock, and I embossed it with a distress tile embossing folder. And I'm going to add this piece on the inside of the card. So I'm adding this piece first because we're going to add the second fun fold section over the top of this piece. Then we're going to take that little fun fold section that we created. So it's 3.25 by 4.25 inches when closed. And we're going to adhere this on the inside of the card. So this back portion here. And basically what I want is I want this part to be freestanding, and I want to make sure that I can close both sections. So I'm going to move this up just a little bit so that I can close this top section over the bottom section. All right, so once it is adhered, you'll be able to see the diagonal fun fold comes over, and then this top little flap comes over the top, and now you're ready to finish decorating it. Okay, the next thing I did is I just cut a 3 by 4 inch piece of white cardstock and embossed it just using the same embossing folder. as I did for the background piece. And this piece is just going to go on this front flap of the card. So let's add some decorations to this card. Since I'm using the Easter Lilies stamp set, I just cut and colored in one of the lilies and the stem. I also created a little greeting for the front of the card. So this is just a 3/4 inch wide by 3 inch piece of white cardstock. And this is just going to go right on the bottom here. And so I like to lay out my pieces before I actually adhere them. So we're going to just kind of lay these out the way I want them. And that's about how it's going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these pieces together. All right, so I just added some dimensionals to the back, and then I'm just going to pop this up right on the bottom. And this is just that front flap of the card. Next, we'll just add the flowers. So I have a couple dimensionals on the back, and I'm just gonna kind of pop this up over here. And then we'll add the last little bit of the flowers, and we'll just kind of tuck that under there. And then I added just a couple of rainbow adhesive dots. Okay, so that's the front of the card. So now we can open it up and we can decorate the inside of the card. So for the inside of the card, I just cut a 3x4 inch piece of white cardstock, and that's going to get adhered right here. I stamped the little floral image on here, and I just wanted to show you quickly how I colored it. So I'm using stamping blends, and this one in particular is Petal Pink because it coordinates with everything that I'm using on this card. So I just used a little bit of Petal Pink just kind of in the center, kind of followed the outline of the image here, and just added a little bit of color. And then I used the light shade of Calypso Coral just to kind of outline the center part here of this flower. So I stamped the flower on an angle. All right, so now we can just go ahead and adhere this into the center of the inside of the card. And that is the Joyfold card, diagonal style. So as with most of my card ideas, I like to show you just a different way that you can use this design in your card making. So I created the diagonal Joyfold card in portrait style. So that's what I have here. But you can use the exact same measurements to create it in landscape style. So basically, instead of decorating it in this direction, I simply turned the card to the landscape style and I decorated it in this direction. So it's just another fun way that you can use this design in your card making. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways that you can use this diagonal Joyfold card design in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.